Hey, you know that our project is direct air capture?
Yes.
Carbon dioxide is the most prominent greenhouse gas, and our technology helps us to reduce carbon dioxide emission throughout the atmosphere by directly removing it. Our machine helps us reduce the level of global warming and provide a cleaner and better environment.
Exactly. But before we come up with our idea, we need to look into the existing solutions, like bio-based carbon capture. It uses algae, plants, and trees to capture carbon dioxide using photosynthesis.
Right, isn't there another method named carbon storage, where we store carbon dioxide directly underground, or we could make them into rocks so that it won't escape into the air?
Yes, but don't you think these systems have a few problems?
Certainly.
They require a lot of land and water and conditions like sunlight and weather. The underground systems require a complex facility which has a risk of CO2 leakage and ground instability.
Exactly. That's why we have our own DAC machine, our own innovator machine, which doesn't depend on anything. It works on its own. It doesn't depend on the natural growth. It doesn't depend on the huge land masses.
The best part, while the current solutions are useful, they have their limits. Our DAC system is more reliable and technology driven, which helps us to achieve a cleaner and greener environment.
Now that we have understood why we need DAC, we're gonna learn how DAC works.
Basically, our project consists of five parts: intake, sorbent, regeneration, CVT, and automation. In the first part, intake, we let the air pass through helical-like structure, which will increase the efficiency and absorption rate of the solvent. And then the air will pass through the solvent. Inside the solvent, the chemical will absorb the CO2 from the air, and then it will pass to another chamber.
In part 3, we will take the already CO2 loaded solvent and take it into regeneration. For that, we will choose a process called electrochemical PSM regeneration. Why we choose it? Because energy efficient, scalable, and the temperature at which it operates is very like room temperature, as you can see in the slides. In it, we practically make an electrode, and with the unique technology PSM, a CO2 generated. The whole process is given in the slide, and it's quite a revolutionary one because it's scalable, it's safe, it's fast cycling, and that it's efficient CO2 with the least and minimal environmental impacts. For part 4, we are making a CNT salt reactor, which practically takes the carbon but turns it into a valuable product. This part is the most important. Because we are not just basically taking carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere, we are making a high value product. There are various products that we can make out of carbon, like methanol, ethanol, biochar, or basically only solid carbon. But see, they have little to no value, or maybe no sustainable at all, like ethanol or methanol. So we are making a CNT, carbon nanotubes, that are a high value product and practically locks carbon in it for thousands of years. For that process, we are making a reactor. The whole setup you can see. So after making a high value product, we will proceed to the part 5, the automation process handled by my friend Amartya.
Manual operation of chemical systems is a big problem. It's dangerous because of high temperatures, voltages, and exposure to chemicals. It's inconsistent since human error always affects performance. It's also labor intensive since someone has to monitor everything around the clock. That's why automation is not just a convenience but a necessity.
Algae are aquatic organism that produces photosynthesis. How algae are responsible for circular economy? In circular economy, it is used for making bioplastic, which are making used for making packages. It also used for primary like blooms, and algae are used for making shoes and yoga mats. And it is also used for making the textures and order, which are helpful in responsible for algae's past. As a result, it has a dual form, as it is also used for primary purposes, but also uses for giving oxygen and making food, making webs for aquatic animals.
As we have discussed that how what is algae and how it can be used. Now we'll dig deep into how we can capture this carbon capture using algae and how it works. First of all, algae is an extremely useful source which can be used to capture carbon, and it is and it outperforms T2 10 to 50% because of this great rate of population, and it is extremely cost effective as compared to the mechanical carbon capture systems, and requires no as such arable land, and it utilizes wastewater. And aesthetic algae can be integrated with design and sustainability, which can be used to harness the art of living. And in urban integration, it can be used to design various urban civilizations and architecture systems, which can be used to blend and beautify the surroundings with the help of algae. And in living and workplaces, it can be used to capture carbon, as we know. And last but not the least, it leads to educational values, and it increases public awareness in our surroundings, which leads to the use of aesthetic algae and how it can be used to harness.
Carbon credits are a part of the global effort to fight climate change. Carbon credits grant the holder the permission to emit 1 metric ton or 1000 kilograms of carbon dioxide or an equivalent of another greenhouse gas. So basically, carbon credits put a price on the pollution so that polluting becomes costly and industries have to invest in green technology and carbon capture projects. Now let's talk about how the system actually works. First of all, governments or international bodies put a limit or cap on how much CO2 can an industry emit. Companies are given or they can buy a certain amount of credits representing how much they can emit. Companies use verified methods to measure their carbon emissions. If their carbon emissions are less than the limit assigned to them, then they have extra credits and they can sell them. However, if their emissions are more than the limit, then they either have to purchase credits from other companies or they have to pay a penalty. This is how a carbon market works. Permanence in context of carbon credits refers to the guarantee that the CO2 emissions reduced or removed by a carbon capture project will not be reversed. That is, they will not be released back into the atmosphere, even after the credits are sold.
A direct air to carbon capture project captures CO2 from the atmosphere and converts it into carbon nanotubes, a high value material. But this innovation faces a critical challenge, that is permanence. To successfully claim carbon credits, we must ensure that the carbon is stored for at least 100 years. But if the CNTs are integrated into products that are incinerated at their end of life, the stored carbon is re-released. So how do we solve this? We overcome the permanence challenge by issuing credits based on the material's final application. We do this in two paths. Path A stands for the durable use. This is where CNTs are incorporated into long-lived, non-immersive products. For example, concrete and advanced polymers. Path B stands for the non-durable use. This is where they are expected to be burned at the end of life. So now the credits are basically issued on the path A. So you might have a thought, how could we prove it? To prove it to legal contractors like Vera or Pure.Earth, we must follow four strict steps. Step number 1, life cycle assessment or LCAs. A third-party auditor calculates all our emissions from the energy used in DACs to the final conversion line. Step number 2, trackability. This ensures that our system tracks every single batch we produce and it is sold to the final buyer. Step number 3, legal contracts. We legally contract to all the buyers in path A so that every single batch of CNTs are used in the durable applications. Step number 4, third-party verification. Here we ensure that a third-party auditory or an independent auditory checks for all our LC records, our sales reports and everything before any credits are being issued. This is how we ensure that every single credit we claim represents real, permanent and verified carbon removal.
Now we will discuss about generating carbon credits through algae. Carbon credits are not just earned by growing algae, they are earned by removing and storing carbon dioxide for a long time. Our process turns natural carbon capture into verified sellable credits through a science-based method. After capturing the CO2, we burn the algae in the absence of oxygen, a process known as pyrolysis, which turns it into a stable carbon-rich compound known as biochar. Then comes sequestration. The biochar is mixed with the soil, keeping the carbon locked away for hundreds of years. Each project goes through verification following rules made by various institutions. Once approved, it becomes a tradable carbon credit. We can calculate it using the formula shown in the slides. This ensures every carbon credit represents real and permanent carbon removal, turning simple algae into real climate impact.
Thank you.